I'm glad you went. That's where I saw that. So what's up? This is our third podcast. We have of course, we have a topic today, but we'll get into that. I don't know if do you have anything that's happened over the week? We haven't really seen each other or talked to each other. What's going in the life of Christopher Waller? You need to wake up, bro.
Well, early.
It's 10 a.m.
It's early. We've done the podcast.
Honestly, with me working today, of course, my lizard brain I kept coming up with excuses not to do the podcast today.
Not gonna make it. We'll complain.
Yeah, but we're here.
We're in a different location.
We're at Chris's
mother-in-law's
house. I was trying to say it in Spanish because they're Mexican.
Yeah, good luck.
You don't know how to say it? Why come you haven't learned Spanish yet?
No, well, I know I can understand a little. How come you haven't learned Icelandic?
Asvaiha.
I don't know if that's how you say it.
That's German, I think. Asvaiha. Should we start out with some accents?
No, dude.
Do you want to start out with a rap?
No.
What if you rapped for our audience? For our audience that doesn't know, Chris was formerly a rapper.
No, I'm currently.
Currently?
Yeah, I mean, it's
When's
just,
the last time you've rapped?
On a hiatus.
You ain't rapped something since Christmas, bro.
You're an idiot. I rapped a little something this morning.
How come I can barely hear you?
I almost made a terrible joke, dude.
Should you not?
No, yeah, I didn't. I chose not to.
You need to speak up. Tell me after.
Speak up.
All right, so I guess we'll just get straight into the topic. I don't really have anything cool off the mat.
Dude, we're so boring.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess I could. Sunday, I woke up and just turned my head and my neck just. Oh, dude, it was so painful. Could barely move it all day Sunday. Couldn't train Monday.
You just pinched a nerve or something.
Yeah. But that's about as eventful as it's been.
And you've got a competition coming up, right?
Yeah, an eating competition. I've been training a lot.
You've been training like you're doing a eating competition, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What are you weighing right now, dude?
I haven't weighed myself in like a week. I mean, I'm sure I'm 240 still, which is ridiculous, but we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I did a few cool things. We went to our buddy, shout out Bryce. Check out his
Rice,
his Twitch, twitch.tv/abagofmids. Yeah, we went to his gender reveal party. I thought he was revealing the gender he was becoming, but apparently they're having a baby.
Yeah.
And it was about the baby. So,
which was a little unfortunate. I thought it was going to be about Bryce the whole time.
I know.
That's why I was there. Just kidding, Laura. We love you.
That was cool. I've only trained once this week. It's Thursday. Yikes.
So it sounds about right for you.
Yeah. No, the past 2 weeks, I think I've trained 3 times. I've been trying to make it at least 3 or 4 times, but it's been 3 times the past 2 weeks. I'm teaching a class in Murphy.
Do you hear that noise?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but who cares? Wait, what noise?
Or is that you?
The really annoying noise?
Yeah. The one coming from the left.
Yeah, the one coming from your face?
Yeah.
I'm teaching a little class tomorrow at Crazy Baja Murfreesboro, part of like a camp at our professor school there. Professor Reggie, shout out. I'm not really going to teach a whole lot of techniques. I'm mainly going to kind of run just a class for people because it's basically to help them get ready for the Nashville Open, which you're doing Saturday. So I'll probably have them honestly just more so lead like a drilling type class for them to just sweat and do their techniques. There's no point to teach them new techniques right now. Honestly,
there's no point to really roll either. I mean, unless
depending on who it is and if they know how to like roll the night before a competition. I remember I remember when we went to Miami to compete, me, Felix, and Jordan. I was like super antsy and just like needed to do something. And so I went and trained at a Gracie Belha there. And I wasn't going hard and the other guy wasn't really going hard, but I rolled my ankle really bad. So yeah, be careful.
Did you compete?
Yeah.
Did you win?
I got third.
Lost an ankle lock.
And then I I didn't get submitted. The one guy, he was on Cyborg. He was part of Cyborg's fight team or whatever. I think that's what they're called.
I need to stand up straight.
It's hard with these microphones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost to him by I think like an advantage or maybe a sweep or something. It was like in 50-50 at the end of it. And then I was actually telling someone about this story like yesterday about I fought for third place, which a lot of like the IBJJF, usually it's 2 third place. There's no fight for third place, but this competition there was. And this kind of leads into the topic that we're going to talk about.
So you lost.
I lost my first match and then won my second. Because the second was for third place.
So instead of doing 2 third place, you fight.
Exactly what I said 15 seconds ago.
Yeah, I know. It didn't make sense the way you said it, though.
Because I explained it so thoroughly.
Yeah.
So, but the topic this week is confidence. And we'll make a formal announcement here in a minute. But I always get crazy nervous before competitions. I mean, there's been all of them. I'm really, really nervous. I get nervous the day before, the weeks leading up to it. I know I was just talking to my brother about him competing this weekend, and he's, you can look at who's in your division on a lot of tournaments before you fight them, and that for me always just leads to crazy nerves. Even if I don't know them, I'll see a name that's like Malaka Laka or something, and it sounds like Brazilian or something. And I'm just like, fuck, they're gonna kill me. But really, the truth is, I fought a Brazilian in a tournament. Just because they're Brazilian doesn't mean they're a black belt at Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah,
like they could have started at any point in their life, and it doesn't matter who anyone is. Like you're just building them up in your head, and not Jiu-Jitsu is the same, but you're not necessarily fighting that person. You're just fighting their Jiu-Jitsu. But anyway, so I get really nervous before competitions. I went through a phase. I normally don't eat at all the day of the competition, even if it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I usually don't eat, maybe like a little bit here and there. But I went through a phase where I was like gagging a lot after I would fight. Because all the adrenaline, and it would just make me dry heave.
But I've never gagged.
I have many times. I think I've only thrown up once, but usually there's been multiple times where like I get off the mat from the match, whether I won or lost, it didn't matter, and I'd go over to the trash can. And I'd just. All
right, people don't want to hear that. It doesn't even sound. It sounds like you're doing a gag for someone else.
That's a pretty good throw up gag, I feel like. But also, you're right. So after this match, I go off to the side of the mat and I'm just like gagging with this trash can, and I hear the guy that I'm about to fight. He was a goofy guy, and I hear him being like, because I was gonna fight him for third place, and I'm just sitting there gagging, and he's like, oh, he's out. He's probably not going to want to fight. Because this guy, he accidentally signed up for a weight class above or something, so he's a little bit smaller. And he just like was already out of the competition. And again, with the topic, not confident in like obviously winning. He just wanted to kind of get it over with. And that happens a lot for me. I've had it happen with competitions where I've been almost so nervous that I'm just like, I just wanted to get over with.
I haven't competed,
which I don't think is the best mentality, but it's just So I'm gagging, and he's like, oh, he's probably not gonna fight or whatever, and I'm just sitting there, and I kind of get it together. And,
oh no, I'm ready, bro.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think I'm ready? and he was like, you good, man? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I don't remember what he asked me, but I think he was like, are
we doing this?
Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna want to fight now, are you? And I was like, oh yeah. Like I came here, I didn't drive. We didn't drive to Miami overnight for me to just like almost throw up on someone and give up. But yeah. All right, so just leading into the topic, confidence.
What belt was that?
Purple belt. I think I had just gotten my purple belt. The topic is confidence. I guess we'll first I'll shout out Erin. She's helped us come up with these topics.
I didn't know that. I thought you were just coming up with them.
Yeah. But so the past two she's helped me come up with, or she's come up with. So confidence, we'll kind of talk about our confidence.
Nothing.
We'll talk about confidence before we started jiu-jitsu and kind of when we were overweight and all that stuff. And then lead it into jiu-jitsu and how, I guess
it doesn't have to be that structured. We can just start talking.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's good to start out.
So I think there's confidence in different aspects of your life. Like as far as like clothing, like I'm pretty confident. I don't really put much thought into what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Like most of the time it's sweatpants and a t-shirt. But,
is that why you were smiling?
Yeah. No one's gonna get that except for one.
It's
person.
An inside joke, but it's not because you do only wear sweatpants and t-shirts.
I hate clothes. That had nothing to do with confidence.
Do you hate clothes, or are you so unconfident that
I just want to?
You don't feel good. You don't see yourself in a good light. So even because I've seen you, wear nice clothes. Look at that hair for the YouTube.
No, I don't know. I just don't like. I mean, most of the time in my adult life, and when I haven't been huge, I work all the time. So there's not much opportunity to wear different clothes. But sometimes I like wear. Like when I helped Mom shoot the wedding, I wore a nice shirt, nice pants, and a tie, and all that good stuff, and I enjoyed it, I guess. But
yeah.
Did you just zone out?
For sure. Well, because I was like listening to the mic, trying to make sure you're loud enough.
Oh, well.
You're not as loud as normal. So, yeah. I mean, like we've talked about, we've both been really overweight, pretty much from ages. I mean, we've always been bigger, but it didn't get bad into.
Grade.
Yeah, but I should have put my phone on vibrate. But I feel like we didn't get really overweight. We were just kind of bigger kids, and we didn't get super overweight until.
Nice, bro.
I know. Until.
Dude, third grade's when it all started, and then like fifth grade we were huge.
But then, yeah, that's true. But then I think we lost weight like in 7th or 8th grade because
it was.
I've seen pictures of us
between 7th and 8th grade. We did like low carb diet all summer, super strict.
Because our mom was really overweight and she lost a ton of weight and then kind of got us into it.
Shouts out, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Remember when she let us do we went to the gym that we went to with her and we did a free personal trainer what are your consultation.
Goals?
And
I want a 6-pack.
That was my goal as a chubby little
I don't remember what
12-year-old. He was like, what are your goals? 6-pack, please. I'll take one 6-pack.
It just reminded me when we were living. Well, when she was living in the apartment, I don't think we lived with her. But she bought a tent because it was a 1-bedroom apartment. She bought a tent so one of us could have some private time. That sounds weird. It wasn't a masturbation.
It wasn't
tent.
A jerk off tent.
It was not a masturbation tent.
But I feel like that would be a good product.
I like it. I'll buy it right now.
Pitch a tent in your tent. You're good, brother.
All right. Sponsor.
That's our new sponsor, jerkofftent.com.
The readout was done by Hulk Hogan. Brother.
Yeah, brother. It's Hollywood Hogan, dude. Yeah, so we've always been over, but what I'm getting at with the kind of the timeline is like, I feel like we are both, and a lot of people are like this, like pretty introverted people, but when we're in a group, like we both like our private time and alone, again, with our private time in the tent, we both like our alone time and just kind of whatever, browsing YouTube or doing whatever it is, making music, writing music. Like we like that being alone, but we're pretty extroverted and we're introverted and I'm going to keep saying intro and extra until I get them confused. Introverted in big groups and groups of people we don't know, but usually in our safe group of people, we're pretty extroverted people. And
Yeah,
I guess
and if
that,
we're
I think that kind of goes along with confidence in a way. And that's kind of when, I don't know, were you confident as a kid? Did you feel like?
Up until a certain point, yeah.
So that's kind of what I was going to get at. For me, I noticed, and this is not till like I kind of reflected on the past. I'll put some chimes there when I said that. I feel like not until looking back at everything, like thinking about how everything ended up. But we went to a really small school in Leapers Fork, Tennessee, Hillsboro. A super cool. It was a really cool school, but it was really small, and like our 8th grade class was 80 people, and those pretty much
Not even, dude. I think it was 60. It was not more than 70 people.
So all those people.
Should we name all of them?
Yeah,
right
let's go.
I bet we could.
Of all the, I mean, most of those people we knew since, when did we go there? 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So
there were only maybe half had come in after 3rd grade, but the rest we all knew.
If half, yeah. More so people leaving, but yeah. And then when we went to high school, of course, everyone in that, depending on the zoning, they're all. So we had some friends at our high school at Independence, but it just went from being such a small school and then all of a sudden being with like 400, 500 people.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that high school
was pretty small.
Yeah, there weren't seniors yet because it was the second year. The first year they did freshman, sophomore. 3rd year was freshman, sophomore, junior. So it was even smaller
than a normal high school.
Yeah.
But I feel like that kind of, I don't know.
Dude,
I wasn't
eat a pack of sour Skittles after gym class. Every day.
Really?
Yeah, it made me sour things make me sweat. So I was sweating from gym and
gym. Oh, gym made you sweat?
Yeah, gym was at PE or whatever you want to call it. So I would, and not only those two things made me sweat, but I would do PE in Dickies and a hoodie. I never dressed out. That's why I failed gym class. But I would always participate just in my Dickies and hoodie. This kid moved from California. This is so random, but he moved from California and he thought he was this badass at school. And I was wearing my Dickie shit, and he came up to me and he was like, "You make Dickies look bad, bro." And like kept walking. I was like,
I feel like I don't know who that was, dude. But
he ended up being, well, it's a long story, but
who was it?
I can't even remember his name. But the next time I saw him was when I was
in jail.
Yeah, so,
that makes sense.
So we bonded over that.
Good old male bondage.
Some Dickies would look good on you right now, bro.
How about this Dickies? How's it look on you?
Dickies is a brand of pants. It's not slang for penis.
But it could be.
Maybe.
Could be. So, yeah, that was kind of, I mean, do you feel the same way? Like, I feel like that experience kind of pushed us more so to be very introverted. And, like, I know at that time, too, is when I had crazy anxiety for a whole bunch of reasons.
Yeah,
but
I mean, our life changed a lot, like, right then. That was when our parents got divorced and all that stuff. So
wait, they got divorced?
Well, they still have sex, but
come on, dude. I was trying to
Just kidding, they don't.
No, they could.
Well, they're in 2 different states, so.
Well, love is love. We always joke with our parents too.
You guys
like
getting back together?
Yeah, like if they're because they've been pretty friendly throughout it all, and like especially now it's been so long, but. We'll always like if they're like getting along, we're just like, "Are you guys getting back together again?"
Well, Mom's made a joke. She was like, "I talked to your dad the other night for like 45 minutes. We're getting back together." Like, okay.
So what were we talking about? Yeah, just
confidence, but we just went off on a tangent.
But yeah, I wasn't a confident kid, but I was confident, like you were talking about, there's confidence in certain areas, like some stuff, but like now we're much more confident people, but I think there's like a delusion, I don't know if that's the right word, but that just because you're confident doesn't mean you have self-doubt, because we are both, and I'll speak for myself, I'm riddled with self-doubt all the time, constantly, about anything I do.
Loser 100 times a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm right.
Yeah.
But
I'm just there
I think the confidence changed throughout that school year, though. Because, like, once we had our band and started playing shows, well, like, talent shows. But, I mean, for real, by the end of the year, I felt like I had, a lot of friends. A lot of people I was cool with, too.
I feel like you were more than me.
I was also in the smarter classes. Well, I shouldn't say the smarter classes. I had a lot of older kids, like sophomores and juniors in my classes, and I became friends with a lot of them.
We had...
Do you remember that crazy Carl?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy was ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like every high school has a crazy Carl.
Dude,
or a crazy Rick.
Carl.
Or like, Rick Carl.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But... I'm just thinking about all these stories that like I want to tell or whatever, but
just tell one.
Well, I was gonna say because the question we always get asked as twins is, have you ever switched places before? And we have done that twice. Technically, I don't know if you remember the second time. If you want to talk about that.
Well, it was a long time ago.
The first time was
in
high school. We both switched out our study halls. Mine,
no.
It was math class.
Yeah.
But at that point, my GPA was so low, they just were like, "There's no way you're gonna pass this class. Just use this as a study hall."
Yeah.
Which I took that as okay. I'm gonna have fun all class and just mess around.
They did the same thing for me, and
they took you out of that class and put you into study hall because. Yeah, we were distracting each other.
Our geometry, because we had geometry and biology together, and we got in a ton of trouble. And eventually, they're like, "Okay, yeah, you guys are not going to be in the same class." So they changed my schedule, dude. I was pissed.
Well, it just made me think like and maybe being like, I don't know how to phrase this, but like the first time. We were in kindergarten together in the same class, and then they realized, nope, no way, this gonna work, and they separated us, and we like both cried. I probably was the only one that cried.
Yeah.
But I think that goes along with confidence. Is like we've always had each other to like, even though we fight, we back each other up, and like.
So we feel when we're by ourselves, we're a little less confident. I think that's true.
Yeah, and like we've had to go even now, but we've. Obviously more confident by ourselves than we were in like experiencing life and all that stuff. So yeah, we weren't that confident of people.
And the second time
that we switched is Chris got a job.
I was like 18. I got a job
at Walmart.
Could not pass the drug test. For nothing.
Because of secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
At a party.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't inhale, but I was just worried. But yeah, he took it. I passed.
Yeah.
So, it's all gravy.
Kind of, I guess, to maybe start to segue into Jiu-Jitsu, because I would say Jiu-Jitsu increased my confidence in many
Great
ways.
segue, dude.
Was it?
No, you just said
Float on the track like a segue.
Here's the segue into the next.
Like, dude, that's not a segue. You're just saying here's a segue.
Yeah.
You can't say here's a segue as your segue. That's
segue.
segue. Float on the track like a segue. Ooh, that way. Yeah. Have you said? Do you think that jiu-jitsu has increased your confidence?
For sure. 100%.
And I think there's
At the beginning, it was like bam, 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 bam. Like the confidence. Just kept
Really?
building. Yeah. Like
just in all aspects of your life or on the mats?
No, in all aspects, I think. Because, I mean, yeah, that was like right when I became a manager at Jet's Pizza. And I was young and never managed before. And then I started training. It was the same. I think I maybe became a manager like a month before. But it just, it helped me a lot, I think.
Yeah, I mean, me too. And I think there's a bunch of ways that it increases your confidence for various reasons. And I think confidence also plays a big part in your performance on the mat and executing techniques and like sparring and all that stuff. But even drilling, like I remember in the beginning of training, like starting when I first started, I think I was so not confident myself and my like ability to move and do stuff where like that would cause me to forget the moves because I was so self-conscious of like, am I doing this right? I'm not doing it well enough or like that. Like, yeah. And then it just like, then you just forget about the technique all in all. And you're just like in this weird, like self-doubt. And so, and some people aren't like that. Some people catch on fairly quickly. But for me, I remember one time Professor Edgy was showing me a technique. And like I was like, oh, okay, like this. He's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he showed me again, and I was doing it. And he was like, are you even watching me? Look. And it was just like all because I just got so, yeah. And so even before people start jiu-jitsu, like we've talked about, stepping, even like going for your first class is intimidating to 99.9% of the people in the world, to everybody.
For sure.
Even people who are in shape, you get these like big bodybuilder dudes that want to come in and try class, but they always have some sort of excuse or reason why, and there's really no reason why. None of it's a good excuse. It's really, for the most part, and obviously I can't speak for these people, but it's the ego.
You can't train jiu-jitsu, but you can lift 405 pounds.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's just the ego kind of getting in the way of like, and being afraid to be humbled, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, people, I know Felix, who I train at his gym now. He he's a brown belt, owns his own gym, teaches classes, like awesome. And before he started jiu-jitsu, not that he wasn't a confident person, I didn't know him enough at the time, but he has told me that he would drive past the school all the time, like meaning to, like he would go in the parking lot, drive past it and wanting to stop and go in, but he just would drive past it until eventually he came and did the class.
I think those like self-defense classes, like the free ones for like Whole Foods that you do, I think that's the best way to get people in there. Because everyone's afraid to do it.
Yeah, if you don't know somebody there,
putting on the uniform, you feel so goofy. When the first time you put on a gi, you're just like, dude, I look ridiculous right
yeah,
now.
You feel like
Especially
you're a
if
kid
a
or
overweight
something.
and stuff. It's like, ugh.
And yeah, for people, if anyone is listening to this, they are afraid to try a jiu-jitsu class or whatever, or anything like this where it's a group activity. Get a friend to go with you, and you can always go to a place and just like hang out and just tell them you're interested, but you don't want to try it.
Watch
and just get used to the environment. But it's super weird. It's like if you've never done martial arts, and a lot of people have, but as a kid, like when you go back in as an adult, it almost feels like you're a kid. You're like, this is kind of goofy. This is weird. But also it's intimidating because you're like, am I going to get my ass kicked? Or like, am I going to, you don't really know.
And chances are you're going to get paired up with the right people and it'll be a good experience.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody leave from an intro class with a frown on their face. I think they're sweating and they're smiling. They don't always sign up, but
my favorite story of someone's first class is when Jack, our friend Jack, came and tried a class, and he was he had lost a ton of weight doing jiu-jitsu. He was pretty big. He was like 260 or something at the time, maybe 280, and he was laying on the side of the mat, just huffing and puffing, red, super red. And I was like, once you get settled in, we can talk about membership. And he's like, where's my wallet? Give me. And he just handed me his credit card while he laid on the mat, like the side of the mat and the floor, just like
so awesome.
Dying. Yeah, it's typical Jack.
And he stuck around. He's a brown belt now. Me and him trained together since white belt. It's awesome.
So when you said you were like in the beginning, you gained a lot of confidence. Why do you think that is? Like, what caused that?
Doing something different and
Yeah.
hard and seeing progress.
I thought
No, but I mean, you see progress. I mean, I guess it's all what you deem as progress, but I think you see it pretty fast. You go from your first class not knowing anything to now I know how to control someone if I'm in mount or whatever the class is.
And not that you're gonna go and like after a few classes like be beating everyone up in sparring, but just being shown that you can like control.
Yeah, you're just gaining knowledge. And, yeah, I don't know. It's just.
I think jiu-jitsu increases confidence in a lot of ways. Like I had said, you're doing something new. You're doing something that's incredibly difficult. Jiu-jitsu, like a majority of people who start jiu-jitsu quit jiu-jitsu. That's a fact, and because it's really tough, and life gets in the way sometimes and all that. But ultimately, it's just really tough. And if sometimes people don't love it, which Professor Adji always would get offended. He's like, I don't understand how people don't love jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu, but if you don't love it, it's so difficult. It's so hard that it's like, why would I put the time into to do something like whatever? But I think it increases confidence in some ways. Like I was trying to think of ways that I thought it did. And I think a big one is like you're forced to work with people because you can't really do jiu-jitsu by yourself. You can do solo drills, but it always requires at least one person. And you're forced to be with these people of all walks of life. Like there's doctors, police officers,
many people that we would have never met.
Yeah, people that you would never meet, and you're forced to work with them and sweat with them and learn with them and like go through this difficult thing. And jiu-jitsu is such an individual sport, even though like you do need a partner, but everyone's kind of really, it's kind of an individual and selfish sport in a lot of ways until you start teaching, because you're so focused on like your jiu-jitsu, your game, what do you need to improve at. It's so individual, but also there's such like a community. And I think interacting with all these people and like going through something hard, difficult with them helps build a lot of confidence. Does that make you, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think when a group of people are all working towards the same goal and are there for each other to talk about when you're, I don't know, I'm not going to say feeling down, but when you're struggling on the mats, I guess, I don't know. It's just the community that helps, I think. And there's like, you feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself.
And even though there are,
hallelujah.
Hallelujah. There's like belt ranks and like all that. And of course, like people are going to be better than other people, but it's all like, I feel like when you're on the mats, you're equal. Like it doesn't matter what your career is, how much money you make, nothing, you're all equal. And I feel like that's kind of a confidence boost to like just be yourself around people that like there's no judgment, I guess. And like you kind of see like, I don't know, if you have a lot of self-doubt, especially in just like general like I'm the king of awkward interactions, but like having self-doubt with just like even talking to people when you're after class, you start to talk to these people who, like you said, you would never talk to or interact with if it weren't for being on the mats together. And I think that can be a big confidence boost.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but it doesn't really have... I mean, it kind of has to do with confidence, but I guess get your take on it. How do you feel about people getting a gold medal when they're the only one in their division?
Yeah, so to explain to the audience, when you compete, sometimes you sign up and then there's no one in your division, and you still go. You can still receive your gold medal for that, and then you can do the absolute division, which is like all the weight classes combined. If you place in your division, you can sign up for absolute and have the chance to win another medal. It's like a separate division. So I think if you go and no one's in your division and your goal is to do the absolute, I think you have to get a medal. I think you would have to technically do that. You couldn't just like, I don't know. I don't give a shit. If someone,
my point is like someone at our gym, they competed and then it was just one other guy in their division and they got beat. And then they said a participation medal. A precipitation medal.
I think if you go and you have a fight, like, yeah, it kind of is like, but you didn't have my whole thing. Because I used to beat up myself up when I was doing competitions. Is like if sometimes that's happened to me, and it's like you can't control how many people are in your division.
I mean, so I had a point the whole time. I just let you talk. But what I think, which is most
here, let me ask you a question to let you talk, so then I can tell you what I think. Classic.
Chances are there were at least 3 other people in the area that could have competed, but you were the only one that had the balls to compete. So I think you 100% deserve the medal. Yeah, it's not, you didn't win 2 fights to get that gold medal, but dude, I mean, there were for sure other people that could have competed and they didn't. And
yeah, as long as you're honest with yourself about it, and don't think that you got gold,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, but I just think that there's more value to the medal than just. I don't know. I guess you do get it for just showing up, but there's other people that could have shown up, and you were the only one that had the confidence to show up. Yeah, it had. That's how I tied it into confidence. I just was thinking about that.
Well, thanks for giving us your thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's take a little break and we'll get back.
Cha. Had an issue with the video camera, so we're still working out the kinkadinks.
We are back. We kind of left off on a segue, so let's segue into. I feel like there's a lot more.
Right, let's four-wheeler into the next topic.
Ayo. I feel like there's a lot more we can talk about with the whole confidence thing and how Jiu-Jitsu increases confidence. Honestly, I feel like we could almost continue into another podcast about it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should get a guest.
Next week?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Well, I'm gone next week, so we'd have to do it either Monday or next weekend.
I mean, I can do it. Whatever. We'll talk. We'll talk off the air. We'll do it live.
Off the record.
So what do you want to talk about now? I feel like we cut off.
We were just talking about the UFC fights during our little break.
Oh, well, and that kind of brought up speaking of confidence.
So Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou, I think that's how you say it, fought, and it was the worst fight of all time. It was terrible. And during the broadcast, Joe Rogan's shout outs to God.
JRE.
Joe Rogan said that like Francis Ngannou needs a sports psychologist. He wouldn't engage at all. So Francis Ngannou did release a statement saying that he let fear overcome him from his last performance, and he apologized. And they're both of them, even Derek Lewis, they were both super self-aware of how shitty it was. Derek Lewis, in the post press conference, they asked him like how he felt or who he should fight next. He was like, to be honest with you, man, I don't think they should let me fight anybody next with how bad I just fought right now. Oh, really? Yeah, he was just questioning his whole career. But
that made me think of something I want to talk about confidence. And obviously competition's different. MMA is a whole different thing too. So I won't speak on that, but I think in any martial arts or really any skill, whether it be like painting or, whatever it is you're doing, when you start to get a little better and like see kind of your progress, that can build confidence. And when you approach something confidently, can really have a good effect on whatever it is you're doing. And like with Jiu-Jitsu, when you're learning new techniques, and say you learn a new technique and you're trying a lot in sparring and it's not working, but you like really want to keep trying it. So eventually you say it's a sweep. You sweep somebody and you hit it for the first time. Like that's a huge confidence boost because all of a sudden you're like, oh, it works. Oh, this jiu-jitsu stuff works. Because a lot of times like when you first start, you're like, nothing's working. This doesn't work. Like that. I felt like that was my mindset. Sometimes where I was like, this doesn't even work. Like, and it's just I wasn't doing it right, or there's a lot of factors to it. But when you start to get confidence in a technique, you're going to start hitting it more and more. Obviously, you're getting your muscle memory and your timing and all that's getting better, but also the fact that you've built your confidence in that technique is what helps you get the technique a lot of times. Because if you start to do a sweep, say you're doing a move or a technique that you normally hit, but for whatever reason it's not working on this person and they're reacting away, and you just kind of give up and like go to something else or give up on that technique. Like when you start to lose your confidence in it, you're not going to get the technique. Yeah. But sometimes that's all it takes is like to believe that, okay, this is going to work, and you're not going to give up so easily when they're reacting a certain way or giving you a more difficult time than you have normally with the technique.
Yeah, I just thought of this sometimes when I get like a new technique, or in a scramble I set something up real cool. I try not to do it, but sometimes I'm having fun and keeping it playful. Shouts out to Horion. It's Horion, right?
Heat on.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Heat on and Henner.
But I'll like be in a scramble and I'll just jump into a cool like omoplata or something, and I'll be like, oh, sick. And I'm vocal and I try not to do it, but yeah, it's because I'm,
yeah, it's cool.
Happy. I'm excited that I was able to pull it off or whatever. But
I'm trying to think of any other kind of ways we can talk about, especially for like maybe newer white belts and stuff that are listening to the podcast as far as confidence. What about like when you write raps? So we talked about you a rapper. Obviously we've talked about we're both kind of riddled with self-doubt, and that never is going to go away. I mean, sometimes you get in the zone, but like, do you feel like when you start writing something and you write a line that's good, that builds your confidence to like keep pushing forward and keep doing
snowball effect?
Yeah.
Once you crank out 2 cool lines, 2 more are gonna come real quick. It's the times where you're sitting there and nothing's coming that are super frustrating and tear down your confidence.
And that's gonna happen in jiu-jitsu or anything. Like jiu-jitsu, we always say it's like you're gonna have peaks and valleys and plateaus, and it can be really frustrating when like you have a bad day or bad week or bad, you could have a bad month where you feel like either you're not getting better or sometimes you feel like you're getting worse. I know I've had throughout jiu-jitsu, like I've had times where I felt like I'm getting worse, but those are always followed by times of like where all of a sudden everything's clicking and I got like way better, almost it's seemingly overnight. Like it just kind of happens and you notice like, oh, like this is, it's working or whatever.
Yeah, yesterday I was rolling with a white belt. He's a couple stripes or 3 or whatever, and after we rolled, we shook hands and he was like, oh, man, I'm just getting smashed by everybody today. I was like, dude, so what? I was like, there's days where I get smashed too. I was like, don't worry about it. He's like, yeah, I know, but everyone has those days. And it's good to have those days where you get home, get in the shower, and cry to yourself. And then the next day, you get back to it. You do the same thing.
And that's confidence, too. Like, I feel like people think that if you're confident, that means you're like, you think you can do anything or whatever, which isn't true. I think it's like it's you when you're confident, you think you can do stuff, but also you're not afraid of failing. So like to be confident, you have to have been humbled, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah. I think that's the difference between being confident and being
cocky.
Cocky, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
most
the medical
people that
term.
Are cocky. Most people that are cocky are not confident. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you just basically said what I said, just in reverse.
Yeah, you're right.
But jiu-jitsu, so like we talked about, so tough, and like you're gonna fail. It's your techniques are not gonna work sometimes. You're gonna get choked. You're gonna feel feel bad sometimes and feel like you're not getting better. But like all those little failures, and you keep showing back up and do have some successes as well, like that is gonna be what builds your confidence, and that's what makes a lot of people who practice jiu-jitsu and stay with jiu-jitsu are pretty confident people, or at least more confident than they were when it started. And it applies, like you talked about, like in all aspects of your life. I know from teaching jiu-jitsu and just like doing it, I have been able to do like certain public speaking things, or like even in a job interview where I feel like I'm like, this is where normally I would
nothing compared to Chris trying to break my arm tonight.
Yeah. And yeah, it'll help all aspects of your life. Yeah.
I guess we can end on this. I saw a video either this morning or yesterday. I don't remember. I subscribed to his YouTube channel, but it's like he's like a 2nd degree black belt, and he was talking about how when you get your blue belt and you feel like you don't deserve it, and all that stuff, even at purple brown, I feel like a lot of the time you're not going to feel like you deserve it or whatever. But he was talking about you got to look at the grand scheme of things, where you're only going to spend 2 years at blue belt or whatever belt, and that is so small compared to your whole life. And that should be the goal, right? When you start jiu-jitsu, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Is who cares about that 2 years at blue belt, even if you think you don't deserve it, when you're going to be training for 30 years.
Yeah.
If I explain that.
No, yeah, I've had that thought too, where it's like, whether it's related to like not feeling like I deserve a belt or whatever, but it's like, yeah, if your goal is to do it for the rest of your life, you want to do it. It doesn't matter, because really you're going to be unless you start later in life, like you're going to be a black belt longer than you are any other belt. Yeah. So like it doesn't, and that you can, on the flip side, like if you think you don't deserve it, but also if you're feeling like you do deserve a different belt, or like, or you're kind of, that's your goal, is like, oh, well, I want to, I need that. I want to be at the higher belt. Like, who cares? Just chill out. Don't worry about it. You're going to be a black belt longer than any other belt. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time. I know I used not necessarily the belt, but also it is a good symbol of like, oh, I am getting better or whatever, and a symbol of time. But I used to get obsessed with like getting better, and like when you have that mindset, which it's good to do sometimes because it can make you good. But if that's all you're thinking about, when you have those bad days, it's going to crush your confidence because your whole identity of who you are is based off of how you're performing on the jiu-jitsu mat. But that's pointless. That's not who you are. Like, that's just a part of who you are. Yeah, I mean. All right, anything else before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Do we have sponsors today?
We talked about our one sponsor, the masturbation tent.
Oh, yeah.
That was your sponsor. I don't have...
Coming soon.
Hey. That was a cum pun. Well, I don't have any sponsors today.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Adios, amigos.
See you next week.